What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And these are exciting times, let me tell you. I'm excited. You should be excited too, because we're starting a brand new project on the Desolation map, okay? Now, you guys have given me some suggestions for nightclubs, but I can't solidify an idea in my head. So I'm going to work on something else. Something I know I was going to build from a long time ago. I'm going to work on that now. I'm going to start it today. I don't want to talk too much about it, because this is going to be kind of a weird build. This is one of those builds where I place a block, step back and look at it, place a block, step back and look at it. You know what I'm talking about. So you're about to see creativity in its rawest form right now. I'm dabbling, right? I'm doing the trial and error method here, and I don't want to talk about what I'm going to build. I'll say that for a future episode, so it's not even going to really materialize to the point where you can recognize what it is in this video. But as far as this video is concerned, focus on the creative process, the process of creating something from scratch. And you'll see how, I check something, see how it looks, and if that doesn't work, I'll try something else, and just dabbling, seeing what comes out. And this is going to be a very organic build, and we'll see what comes out in the end. Who knows, it could be anything, but I do get a pretty good start on it. And this is going to be just the front facade. Of course, it's going to be walls on the side, but I'm just working on the front facade today. And we're also going to have little chats, because today is Monday, and Monday means creative question of the week time. You know this part of the series, guys. Your favorite part is my favorite part. It's the part where we talk about comments and questions from the comment section below. I answer the questions that you have, and let me tell you guys, this week was probably the best week of questions I've ever had. You guys brought it this week. There were so many intelligent questions. They were coming at me left and right. I didn't know which one to choose. I really struggled to pick one. Man, I want to thank you guys for really participating in this and really using your brains to come up with questions that could be fun and interesting and something I could talk about for 15 minutes. You guys have really set the bar for future weeks. So don't let this be the only week where you guys ask a ton of questions, a ton of great questions, by the way. So thank you guys for everyone who asked a question. I wish I could answer all of them. I really do. And there were so many that I chose two today. I'm going to answer two questions. Now, they're sort of in the same vein, so hopefully we can get through both of them. But there's two questions that I picked out today. The first one comes from Eve Clark, and she asks, do you think that humans have more intelligence than animals, or even more of a right to life? Or do you think that animals have an intelligence that we can't comprehend? Thank you, Eve Clark. That's a great question. I can't wait to start on that one. The second question comes from The Vanilla Bee, and he asks, when you die, is it possible to be reincarnated into a plant? And also, if you eat plants, do they produce negative energy? Whoa, we're getting into it, guys. There's some serious questions here, and let's get right into it. There's not a moment to spare here. First of all, we'll answer Eve's question first. By the way, thank you guys so much for your questions. Eve asks, do humans have more intelligence than animals, or even more of a right to life? Or do you think that animals have an intelligence that we can't comprehend? Well, first of all, I'm a vegan, so I don't believe in killing animals for food. So that should tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, okay? Now, I remember long ago, I got into an argument with someone, and she was saying, animals have just as much right or more right to life than humans. And I was like, what, are you crazy? I mean, humans have gone to the moon, The only animal that's gone to a moon has been a chimp. He didn't even land, okay? So, I always use that argument that we're more intelligent, therefore we have more of a right to life. But something shifted in me, guys. Something big shifted in me. And it was the realization that I'm not as smart as I think I am. Okay? What I mean by that is this. Whether you understand this or not, animals have more senses than we do. A lot of them have worse eyesight, worse vision, or even worse hearing. A lot of them have better smell. But most animals, almost all animals that I know of, can sense energy. That's why when you see a dog and it's barking at you, it can sense your fear. It senses that you are at unease, and it's sending you back the same signals that you're sending him. If you're calm, cool, and collected in front of a vicious dog, guess what? That vicious dog is going to pick up on your energy and also be calm, cool, and collected. So often we're like, oh, that dog is terrible, that dog's vicious. That dog is just responding to your energy. Now, most humans can't do that. We have been so programmed to live only in our ego minds, to think that the logic is the only thing there is, that we've been separated from our heart, which is where the sensing of emotions, the sensing of energies is originated from. That's how you do it, is opening up your heart center rather than your mind center. So animals, while yes, they can't go to the moon, they don't have the logic brains that we do, and yes, we're much smarter than animals in that respect, sure. But animals can sense, feel, and experience energy. Now, what does that get animals? Look at what it's got in us. We live in a world that is filled with pollution, filled with violence, filled with negativity. We've destroyed this earth pretty much, okay? Animals are going extinct. The deserts are expanding. You know, it's just, we've demolished this planet, basically. How many animals demolish the planet? Animals live in symbiotic harmony with Mother Earth. They don't take more than they need. And that is something that we as human beings do not understand. We take more than what we need because of greed, because our logic brain tells us that there's not enough, so we better hoard this stuff, right? So that's where our logic brain has gotten us. It's gotten us to the point where we're on the verge of destroying our only home that we have. So animals would never do that. Animals understand the energy of the earth. They live in harmony with the earth. They don't take what they don't need, and they give back more than we could ever hope to give back as human beings. They live in perfect harmony with their ecosystem. Everyone plays their part. Everyone plays their part willingly, and no one is trying to get more than they deserve in nature. That's just how it is. But we've gone away from nature. We've said, nature, we know better than you, nature, so we're going to do whatever we want. And that is a very dominating, negative, evil type energy that humans possess. But it's not to say that humans are evil. It's just that we have kind of closed ourselves off to that energy feeling part of us, that sixth sense that we all have. We've closed it off because it wasn't even your fault. Your parents did it to you. So in order to get that back, we're going to have to really have a concerted effort in opening up our heart centers and allowing energy to flow freely between us and through us and among us, right? Do I think they have more of a right to life than we do? Absolutely not. I think all living things should have equal chance at life. All living things are equal. We're all here to learn lessons, and no one lesson is more important than any other lesson. Because we all come from the same place, the same thing, and we're all just here learning about ourselves, basically. That's all existence is. It's energy learning about its own energy. So animals don't have less of a right to live than we do. Just because they can't go to the moon doesn't mean you can raise an animal in captivity, pump it full of steroids, keep it in a little box, and then slit its throat. That doesn't give you any right just because you know how to get to the moon. If anything, they should be killing you because you are the one destroying their home, our only home, the home that all of us share. We are the ones destroying it. If anything, from an animal's perspective, we do not have the right to live. We can't live in harmony with nature. So it's all about perspective, guys. You got to put yourself outside of your own perspective if you want to learn about anything. You have to put yourself in the shoes of someone or something else in order to see that thing from a different perspective. Stop looking at it from your two eyes. Put yourself out into something else's shoes and see it from that perspective. And that'll give you so much insight and clarity into whatever you're trying to get clarity into. Trust me. It's called empathy. And it's a gift that humans have. And I don't know if animals have it. I'm not really sure if animals have empathy. It doesn't seem like they do. So that's a gift that we have that animals don't. Yet we're so willing to throw that away and not empathize with people a lot of the time. Some of us are loving and, whatever. But okay, on to Vanilla B's question, because that is a nice transition here. She says, when you die, is it possible to be reincarnated into a plant? And also, if you eat plants, do they produce negative energy? Let's start with the second half of that question. When you eat plants, they absolutely don't want to be dead. Okay, this is something that I get as a vegan all the time. They say, okay, if killing animals produces negative energy in the meat, doesn't killing vegetables produce negative energy too? And the answer is yes. Vegetables don't want to die just as much as plants do, or animals do, excuse me. Plants don't want to die, okay? And the reason why am okay with eating plants and not animals is because I believe, and I could be wrong, that the purpose of a plant is much different from that of an animal. Animals have souls. Animals have feelings and emotions that kind of resemble humans a little bit. And so I believe that they're put here to learn something valuable. They're put here to learn lessons just like we are. Now, I do feel that vegetables and plants were put here to learn a lesson as well. But I think that the lesson that plants have to learn is more along the lines of giving and receiving. That's what plants do all day. They give and they receive. So when a plant is asked to become food, of course it doesn't want to be food, but that's kind of on its path of experience. That's kind of what plants are put here for. And I know if it was up to me, I wouldn't eat plants either, because I think that's cutting short their life, and I think that's a terrible thing because I think we're all equal. But unfortunately, I was put here with the necessity to consume energy. And so, given the choice, which we all have, given the choice, I would rather cut short the life of a carrot than a pig. Because that pig has got feelings, it's got emotions, it's put here to learn something. Whereas the vegetable doesn't have emotions that we can understand, and I think it's put here just to give back to after it's taken stuff. And the fundamental root of it, that's what we're here for too, is to give back after having taken stuff. That's the point of life as well. But the vegetables, just to me, are just not as they're not as well equipped as animals and people to process emotions. So I think that it's okay to eat them. Not that it's okay, but I have no other choice. Ideally, and this is going to trip some of you guys out, but ideally, I would like to get all my energy from water and the sun. And I think that's what humans were always meant to do, is transmute energy from the sun and use it for fuel. And I think, maybe the next 100, 200,000 years, I think we'll be closer to that. And I did talk about sun gazing in a past video, and I'm getting closer to the finished sun gazing requirement. So I'll report back to see how that goes. But to answer Vanilla Bee's second question, when you die, is it possible to be reincarnated into a plant? I think so. Generally, I don't think humans are going to go back to plants, because as far as the reincarnation cycle goes, generally, you come here, you learn a lesson, you grow as your soul grows a little bit, and then you come back to learn another lesson, and you build on the lessons you've learned. Now, going back to saying, plants are kind of lower, they don't have such complex lessons to learn, I doubt that it's common for souls to go from humans to plants. I don't really know, I could be totally wrong, but this is just my belief. I don't think that you're going to really go backwards in your evolution unless you've just been failing the lessons. In that case, yeah, maybe you will go back to being a plant and maybe learn the lesson of longevity and patience and relaxation, which are all things a plant can teach you. We live in these fast, hectic lives where we think we don't have time for things, and maybe going back as a plant might teach you the lesson that you have all the time in the world. It's just a matter of how you want to spend it. And the plant has no option but to spend it soaking in sun and drinking of water and just relaxing. Imagine the life of a tree. What a life. No one expects anything of you. Your whole job is just to support other life. It's pretty rewarding. You get to sit in the sun and feel the wind and the rain. It must be so awesome. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but I doubt that most human souls are going to go back to plants. And that's just a theory of mine. I don't know anything for certain in this respect, okay? It's a very complex system. I can't pretend to understand it, but that is just kind of my opinion. And I don't know. You don't have to believe in reincarnation. That's up to you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a video, I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks ago, about the reincarnation process and what it means to me. I highly encourage you guys to go check that out if you haven't seen it already, because there's some good info in that one. Right? One thing I want to say about these creative question of the week videos, guys, is I know that what I'm saying is so far out there for a lot of you, and It doesn't make sense based on what you've been taught in schools and by your parents. And I understand that completely. And I'm not expecting to change your mind. I'm not expecting you to go off, and quit eating meats the next day just because you heard one of these videos. Okay, that's not what I'm expecting. What I demand of you from these Creative Question of the Week videos, I demand this. If you're going to be watching this, I demand you do this, or else just turn it off and don't watch again. But I demand that you think about it. Think about the way that you think. And please, I'm begging you guys, be open to the possibility of new information. Like I said, as an empath, you can't understand something if you're not willing to change your perspective. If you're not willing to go into someone else's shoes, you can't understand what they know. Therefore, you can't learn what they know. Therefore, you're not growing, learning, and expanding. So please don't be closed-minded with these things. I want you guys to be open-minded and just at least think about what I've had to say. That's all. That's all I ask. That's what I demand. All right, so it's no biggie. Okay, thank you everyone for your questions. Those are awesome questions this week. I really do appreciate your participation in this matter. This build in front of you, I'll work on it this week, and I'll explain more what it is as we move forward this week with the new batch of Desolation videos. But I think that's going to do it for today. As always, thank you guys for your great questions. Keep them coming. Don't stop. Put it in the comment section right now. Think about a question and put it down there. It doesn't matter what it's about. Anything. All right, guys. That's going to be it for me. Leave a like if you enjoy this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.